It is a dark time for the fandom. Evil forces of corporate greed and malfeasance have conspired to render the once proud franchise a shadow of its former self. Left with no other alternative, Rebels return to a time when things were fun and hopeful, a time of legends. Welcome to X-Wing Redux.
Welcome back, everyone. So, as promised last time, it's time to see what the B-Wing could have done against the Death Star, the first Death Star. So, the last two B-Wing historical campaign missions mirror the final campaign missions of the main game, but with a B-Wing instead of an X-Wing. So today we'll get started with the surface attack.
B-Wing Red will clear the Death Star's defenses near this nav buoy. Engage any TIE fighters encountered on your way to the nav buoy. Destroy all hangar ports from which the TIE fighters are launched. Destroy all turbo laser gun towers within 2 kilometers of the nav buoy. B-Wing Red...
Alright, what if the B-Wing had been available at the Battle of Yavin? The Death Star's surface is covered with turbo laser towers. These batteries provide defense against small spacecraft such as starfighters. The Death Star also carries a large contingent of TIE fighters and bombers. Both of these forces must be countered before we can launch our assault on the Death Star's trench. Your mission is to rendezvous at the nav buoy and destroy all the turbo laser towers within a 2-kilometer radius. You must also destroy the 4 hangar port exits that are camouflaged as simple supply containers. From here, TIE squadrons exit the interior of the Death Star. Good luck. May the Force be with you. And I don't need the strategy for this one. So this is a relatively uncomplicated mission. The main thing is going to be start targeting your hit. Keep an eye on the enemy TIE fighters. Actually, I would prefer...
Roger, using designated target.
I would prefer that my wingman went after the launch ports there. So this mission, like I said, is relatively uncomplicated. Oh, hey. As I get closer, then it's going to get... excuse you. As they get closer to the service where I'm in turbo laser range, then that's going to make it a little bit more complicated. Where's that tie?
Red 2, incoming missile. Red 2, incoming missile.
I forgot about the...
Red 2, incoming missile.
The TIE bombers like to shoot missiles. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. But they're not really a huge threat as long as you can keep your shields up. Which just makes this mission more of a lengthy adventure than anything else. That and the actual slight difficulty of picking up a target against the Death Star surface. Starting to get in range of those turbo laser towers, I think.
Red 2, incoming missile.
And here comes another wave of bombers.
Red 2, incoming missile.
That one I'm gonna have to eat. Didn't see anything about my wingman being... No, I still see green, so he must still be there. No, he's gone. Because I tried to tell him to attack and got no response, so he's
Red
at
2,
the door.
incoming missile.
That's unfortunate.
Nice shot.
Alright, well, in that case, I'm just going to have to juice my shields a little more and try and use torpedoes on those, a couple of those hangars so I can reduce how many fighters are coming after me. Can't do that to get the ones that are immediately trying to chew me up. Dealt with.
Nice shot.
Okay, there we go. Alright.
Red 2, incoming missile.
I think
Target destroyed.
Yes. Yes, that will do it. Okay, great. So now I just gotta find the next one.
Red 2, incoming missile.
So, one thing I've been thinking about lately with all the talk about the Acolyte being the death of Star Wars and all that, like I kind of said before, I mean, I think I'm not going to watch it because I don't have Disney Plus and it's not worth my time, but by all indications, yeah, it's terrible. And I was talking before about, and I've talked before on other videos about the classic 90s Star Wars games and some not so classic 90s Star Wars games. But that's the thing. I mean, it's worth... I think it's worth pointing out that there have been bad Star Wars games before.
Nice shot.
There has been... Oh, now we got squints. There have been bad Star Wars games. There have been bad Star Wars books. I mean, I read pretty much every Star Wars book that came out in the 90s, and there were a couple of stinkers. Now, there's some fantastic ones, like the Heir to the Empire, I think, is phenomenal. That's the one that introduced Thrawn as a character and Mara Jade. And yeah, I think honestly that's the sequel trilogy that Disney should have made, was just do Heir to the Empire. But
Red 2, incoming missile.
But anyway, I mean, I love those books. That's the series that also turned me into a Timothy Zahn fan. And I have read a lot of his non-Star Wars books. I think he's a really good author, and that series turned me into a Timothy Zahn fan.
Red 2, incoming missile.
But there's some other books from the old EU canon that not so good. Yeah, there's the Crystal Star. That one stands out in my mind as like the worst Star Wars book I've ever read. Now, I haven't read some of the newer ones that are, again, by all accounts, garbage and painful to read. But just to say, like, there were bad ones 30 years ago,
Nice
too.
shot.
The difference was you could say, hey, this thing is kind of garbage, and half the internet didn't say, oh, you're not a fan if you don't like everything that's ever been made for this. No, that's not true. You can call out garbage when it's garbage.
Red 2, incoming missile. Nice shot.
So I don't know. I think there's probably hope and value in the Star Wars brand, and certainly in the universe, that if in the right hands, there's a lot more cool stories to tell, and I think the right hands are probably out there to tell them. Whether that'll happen under Disney's ownership is an entirely different question. I do not think that it
Nice
will
shot.
be under Kathleen Kennedy's leadership, because I think she's demonstrated that her leadership is what got the franchise where it is now.
Red 2, incoming missile.
So, no, I don't think she is the way back. But, you know, I don't necessarily buy the whole this show is so bad it's
Red 2, incoming
absolutely
missile. Nice
killing
shot.
Star Wars forever argument. But yeah, I do also think it brings up the question. I mean, what's the relevance of an old game like this, or Dark Forces, and Jedi Knight, or you know, the old kind of Legends EU books? And I would argue that, again, one, I don't think Star Wars is dead, and I think it's worth revisiting good stories in an enjoyable universe.
Nice shot.
But also, now, there's a lot of, to use more of a movie and novels argument. I mean, there's a lot of old movies and old books and franchises that are no longer actively made, that are well worth watching, that are well worth reading. I mean, the Marx Brothers are all dead, long dead, but the Marx Brothers movies are still funny. A number of them are actually surprisingly culturally relevant in some ways too. Like, there's nothing wrong with reading, watching, consuming older media. There's a lot of good stuff.
Nice shot.
So,
Red 2, incoming missile.
in books, I mean, there's some stuff like people sort of built on the old canon, like Lovecraft, but I think it's certainly
Nice
worth
shot.
going back and reading some of the original, Lovecraft stories rather than just sticking with new stuff. Also, you're gonna appreciate it. Okay, I think I finally have time to do
Red
that.
2, incoming missile.
I'm just gonna eat that missile.
Red 2, incoming missile. Target destroyed.
Okay, and then I'm gonna lock that last
Red 2, incoming missile.
container. Switch back over to lasers and deal with
Nice shot. Target destroyed.
his fighter problems.
Nice shot.
That should at least slow down the flow of enemies. But yeah, I think there's a lot of old media that's relevant.
Nice shot.
And the idea of, well, if Star Wars is dead, then all of it's dead, and what's the point, is kind of dumb. I mean, heck, look at
Nice shot.
maybe a little bit of a tough sell right now given the state of most comic book movies, but I mean, look at Batman or Superman or Spider-Man, and those characters have been around for way longer than Star Wars. They've had massive ups and downs in popularity and interest over decades. And they were up big for a couple decades and get a slew of bad comic books, bad editorial decisions, mediocre movies. Oh, okay, now they're down again. I think they'll be back. And that said, I think there's also value certainly in finding and rewarding new stories, new storytellers who are looking at, who see kind of the gaps of what used to be and are going, hey, I can. Nobody is really serving this particular demographic anymore. I think I want to do something in this space. Authors like
Nice shot.
a lot of authors doing that. Obviously, one of my favorites, a couple of my favorites, kind of in the sci-fi, urban fantasy space, guys like David Weber and Larry Correa. Not a big watch a lot of movies just because I don't have time. There's some interesting newer movies. All right. So stuff like that. And gaming, I think you get a lot of... There are some smaller indie titles that kind of fill in where almost where Star Wars used to be, where a lot of the classic gaming franchises and styles that have sort of fallen by the wayside were. That's one of the things I'm going to keep. This Star Wars playthrough is going to go for a while. X-Wing has a huge number of missions. And if I go from here to do the somewhat psychotic all bonus objectives wins playthrough for TIE Fighter. Where's that container? There we go. Yeah, then that's going to be huge, because, I mean, there's a huge number of missions. It's got... Okay. Yeah, one squint bothering me right now, so I'm just gonna ignore him for a moment and deal with this hang report.
Target destroyed.
Okay, that's it. No more reinforcements for you. Ground turret range, but I'll deal with that in a moment. Okay, that's the nav buoy. So we're going to lock that into memory. And it's everything within 2 meters, or 2 clicks. Alright, pew pew time. Nice. If I could target these. But, oh well. This isn't a huge challenge, it's just kind of annoying. And a reminder to keep your shields up. Gotta keep an eye on those. Pew, pew, pew. Yeah, so one of the things I'm going to also do on the channel, which I'm, at the moment, I kind of just have with the Wednesday Wings thing, is now also just looking at newer stuff. Wednesday Wings is a little more focused on aviation, and admittedly is not always going to be newer stuff. When I finish air conflicts, Vietnam, then the next thing is going to be, well, I'm not sure yet, but there's a good chance that it might be F-19 by viewer request. So that'll be interesting. Okay, that's enough of that tomfoolery. And back to blowing stuff up. Nice things with the B-Wing is definitely have plenty of shields to work with and plenty of energy. Okay, turn back out of the target radius. There we go. Yeah, it would be nice if definitely be helpful if I could get a target on these turbo laser batteries. But you can also crank up the shield recharge rate. And not really too much about needing to go fast since I'm just firing on static targets and I can take a few hits. As long as I'm reasonably careful. Alright, that's still a bunch of towers there. Yeah. Alright, and more targets down. I don't know. I understand the reason for making this particular mission, not the B-Wing variation. That's just kind of a random fun thing. I understand the reason for breaking the Death Star run into two parts, but this half always just feels like more of a chore than a challenge. I mean, the movie, it's pretty exciting, right? Because you've got all of the fighters, and they're dodging fighters, and they're making their attack runs, and it's very World War II ground attack, because, of course, that's the feel that Lucas wanted. But then in this game, it just kind of drags. Like, this is... Maybe if I had to blast a smaller... Maybe if I had to clear a smaller area... yeah, I know that one's not in my target zone. Coming back around... yeah, maybe if I didn't have to clear quite so many targets, it'd be different. As it is, it just feels like, okay, and not being able to actively target them as well is definitely kind of an annoyance. Just keep looking around. Definitely end up blasting some things that don't need to be blasted. Alright, So those two are those are definitely in the target area. I'm gonna try and mostly sweep back and forth. Oh, mission complete. Okay, that was it. Good deal. All hangar ports destroyed. All laser towers cleared in target area. All right. Let's get out of here and move on to the trench run. All right, that'll do it. That was pretty successful. So tune in next time and see how we do in the trench. Till then, thanks for watching. Be kind to each other. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I put out new videos Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central Time, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.